Approaching 20 years ago, as I neared the age of 50, I encountered ageism. So I developed a program called Business Begins at 50 and the brand Silverpreneurs, but with little success. Welcome to this BVTV Next-Up Trilogy, coming to you from the UK Studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. The reason for my lack of success was that the skills of what we may call third age were then not valued. Retire them so we can accommodate new young blood was the corporate cry. And one leading bank told me that they refused to support older entrepreneurs because they were too expensive and averse to risk. Myself and my wife Kim have stuck to our Silverpreneurs concept, which is now going global. And it's why I was totally excited to have the opportunity to meet a highly successful supporter of unretirement. She's the founder and CEO of Next-Up. Welcome, Victoria Tomlinson. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Malcolm. I love being here. Thank you. And your story is incredible.
I'm so excited to see you because, you know, we've been pushing this hard for, oh, goodness knows how many years now. And we're both talking of the moment, aren't we?
We are. So I love what you're doing because I do think it's of the moment now that people are waking up to the fact that life doesn't stop at even, well, some people say 50, for goodness sake. I mean, that's ridiculous. And we do workshops, and at the beginning we've got now a rolling video where we say, what will you be doing when you're 100? And we're getting people to rethink, and we have all sorts of people. So, you know, the Queen, she's 96, 97 now. David Attenborough, the same age.
I know.
And you've got James Lovelock. He published a few years ago, 100 years old, and he published The Future of AI. I mean, how brilliant is that? So just because you've got a few noughts on the end of your age, it doesn't mean to say that you're a goner. If I didn't get that.
No, it's just a number, as everybody says it in. Now, you've had an extremely successful corporate life, for example, as director of professional services firm EY. But what brought you to want to support us olderpreneurs? And what's the thinking behind Next-Up?
Okay, so I had a previous business, and it was sort of PR marketing, and it evolved into doing some social media and things. And at the same time, I did things like I was sitting on boards and chairing one and things like that. And I was seen as a rather odd woman, if I'm honest, who understood social media, but sort of had a senior, inverted commas, sort of life. And I started being sent people who were older, who had left corporate life, and they were completely lost with what they did next. They had various ideas of what might happen, and they'd been successful all their lives, and suddenly things weren't happening. And we started researching this and realized this is a really tricky time of life for a lot of people. So everyone talks about retirement as if, I think if you ask somebody, tell me what does retirement mean to you? They have this sort of weird vision of a couple on a beach skipping along, holding hands and things in a rather unrealistic way, to be honest. But the reality is that suddenly you don't have a reason to get up in the morning. And what we were finding was people were struggling to find, and I think, Malcolm, you'll probably be the same. I've always got about a million ideas of what I want to do next. But because people have worked in one organization all their lives, they talk about the outside world, and it's quite frightening to them, to be honest. And they don't know what goes on or how to find things to do. And really what matters at this age is about making a difference, probably. Most of the people that we're helping, it's not about money, and it's sort of not about status anymore. They want to do something probably fun, though they don't often say that, but something where it just feels like it's a reason to get up in the morning.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree with that one, because we've got some friends. She's a retired deputy head of a large school. He is retired from an energy company, and she's a lot younger than him, but she's retired, taking early retirement, and she's keen to get onto a pottery, do a painting, make new friends, do Pilates, all that sort of thing. And he just stops in bed in the morning.
And that's quite hard, I think. I've come across a few couples where they're out of sync with each other, and I think that takes some time. I think particularly there's an age difference, or rather not age difference itself, but age difference of doing things. So one's retired before the other in particular. But also what I'm finding, Malcolm, is that bit about putting in the garden and doing various bits and pieces is not necessarily enough. That in a way, that's a life full of hobbies, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's great to have time to do that. But what people, it takes some time to realize that they've lost their sense of purpose. And when I talk about finding a sense of purpose, I've been talking to somebody this morning, and we're both trying to find a really neat way to help people find purpose. And it's something you can't. I've been trying to find. I'm very pragmatic. I like to give people, right, you do 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to find purpose. And I don't. We were admitting it's an iterative process. You've got to try things out, think about things, test out, listen to your inner self, which I don't think most people do for most of their careers, and think about, what do I really care about? Now, we come at it from different ways, because we're running workshops now, and I've just developed a platform so that we want to become the leaders in helping people before they retire. Because what's happening, I hated this phrase. I met so many corporates and chief execs who talk about, what was the phrase? It's this glide into retirement. And I think that's horrible, because it sounds like you're sort of almost gliding into a coffin or something. It's horrid. So what we're doing is, by reinvigorating people before they leave their corporate life, getting them involved in new things. Every business now, they've got that ghastly phrase ESG, sort of things like they've got net zero carbon targets, or they want more women in leadership, and they want to do more with their communities and things. And actually, this is a really ideal thing. Before people retire, get them involved in those initiatives. That's got something that they could carry on afterwards. They can create a new sort of persona, if you like, and actually have a value. And it might be something they can carry on with their companies afterwards, helping in that field. So I think that's a real win-win for people. And I think
we're so in tune here, by the way, Victoria, because we have our what we call our conscious compass, and which is planet, people, profit, but the North Star of it is purpose. And so we're helping people find purpose. And it's, strangely enough, it's our olderpreneurs, our silverpreneurs, who grasp it very quickly, and who have that ability to be able to then communicate purpose, as distinct from, so we say, the younger generation Zers and everything, who know about purpose but don't know how to define it or find it. So I'm in tune with you.
We're going to have another. I want to hear how you go about this, because it's exercising my mind at this moment. So I want to sort of share and hear lots of different ways on this.
It's very exciting, very exciting. Now, thanks, Victoria. Now let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me, but for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's, all the little W's, next-up.com, next-up.com. Victoria's podcast is Rethink Retirement, and it helps people with inspiration and ideas for, I love this word, unretirement. Now, in episode 2, I want to explore with Victoria what she thinks are the main challenges facing unretirement entrepreneurs. So can we go there, Victoria?
We definitely can. I can't wait, Malcolm.